We've had the last of the harvests from our sweet corn. So now it's time for those to come up. And as usual with all of our plants, I like to leave the roots in the ground. So we're just simply using my knife, just cut them off at the bottom, leaving the roots. They will rot down and become yet more goodness for our new dig soil. Now in today's programme, I have some harvesting to do. We also need to prepare some of our veg for their final approach as they land in our store in the house. I also have some transplants to put out, which will give us food well into the new year. Hello and welcome back to the New Dig Norfolk Gardener. What a difference a week makes. For most of this last week, from Monday through to Friday, we've had temperatures that have been below 5 degrees at night. Temperatures by day have been somewhere between 10 and 14 degrees. It's felt more like late February, early March in the weather that we've had. But that is September for you. Today, Saturday today, sun shining gloriously. We woke up with sunshine. It's a lovely 16 degrees at this current time. During the next week, we're expected to get quite warm, back into the low 20 degrees Celsius by day. That's going to help the plants.
Certainly will.
Now you can see there that we've cleared the sweet corn. And now that exposes our butternuts to all of that wonderful sunshine and warm weather that we're going to get. From what I can see, they're already starting to go that familiar tan colour, Mrs. W.
They're starting, aren't they?
Yeah. They're doing all right.
And I think out of the 3 plants, we've got 7 fruits. So it's not packed with them, but a nice bonus because we haven't had a lot of luck with butternuts for the last couple of 3 years, have we? So
for the last 2 seasons, it's been very poor.
It has.
But, yeah, they've done very well this year. And I said earlier on, some years are good, some years are not so good. Very much depends on the weather conditions. I'm just looking at these celery plants. These were late sown, and they're actually coming on really, really nicely.
I did take a very small harvest off those the other day when I made a beef casserole. So.
And very tasty it was too, Mrs. W. In this bed here that Mrs. W made earlier in the season, you can see we had some nasturtiums in here. Well, you probably can't see because they're gone, although they are starting to shoot a bit here. Now, they were a sacrificial plant, and it's something that we trialled this year. They're a part of the brassica family. And of course, as we know, the white cabbage butterfly does like to lay its eggs on cabbages. We've seen very little damage on our brassicas, thankfully this year. Partly due because of the coverings we put over them and they work well, but also if we can deter them and take them away to something else, then they tend to stop flying around there, because believe me, if they can find gaps in your covers, they will get through them. and then you find that your brassicas are destroyed. So actually it's been really quite good. We've dotted nasturtiums all over the garden, actually. Earlier on in the season, we got the benefit of the flowers, and the bees love them, don't they?
Oh yes, yeah.
They
All
look
the
really
pollinators.
pretty. But by about the end of July, they'd literally been decimated by those caterpillars, hadn't they?
They'd had a lovely lunch.
We also had in here a couple of courgette plants. They're finished now, and we've had huge harvests from those, haven't we? We really have.
Yeah. Yeah. They got the powdery mildew, which knocked them back a little bit. Only quite recently they got it, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they haven't really produced any fruits for the last 3 or 4 weeks now, I don't think so. I think they can definitely come out. We've still got the ones on the back bank that are
They're still producing for us and giving us courgettes.
Yeah.
So the plan now is to remove these. I'm going to leave the tomatoes in there, and you can see we've got some to harvest.
We've got a lot of tomatoes to harvest.
And it just goes to show you that given the right season, you can grow tomatoes outdoors and still get a harvest. No, they haven't been as prolific as the ones under cover. You will always do better if you can grow them under cover. But if you don't have that choice, and maybe you just have a balcony or a patio that you can grow things on, you can get quite a nice harvest of tomatoes. And we've been harvesting these every other week or so as they appear, haven't we?
Yeah.
And they're still producing. And while the weather remains like this, of course, they will still keep producing. Now, the first thing I want to do is to replenish the soil level. It's dropped quite considerably since we made this back in May. And it will also give goodness to the new plantings that I'm going to put in here. Now, this is our own homemade compost that Beauty and the Beast has been making for us all year. So I'll just spread that about. That's topped the levels up nicely, Mrs. W.
Yeah, that needed that, didn't it?
Yeah.
We did use the hugel culture to fill this with all the sort of twiggy, sticky bits and sprout stalks and all sorts of things at the bottom of that. So obviously they are rotting down and it's taken the levels down, but that's good.
Yeah. But it's being replenished now. You can see that the compost is not really fine, but then you can't see any trace of what we actually put in it in the first place.
No, just an odd twig or two, isn't there? Bits that haven't broken down, but in the main, it's done really well.
That it has. And this is fine for planting module raised plants out into. If I wanted to direct sow something, then I would ensure that this was actually really quite fine, which would mean leaving it longer. But as the only thing that myself and Mrs. W actually direct sow are carrots and parsnips, this is why we can get away with making our compost like this. And it's an ongoing thing. We took up the sweet corn stalks earlier in the video. They're going to go straight into the beast. We've got the lawns to cut later today, and then we've got the rest of the stuff that we've actually taken out of here. So for us being no-dig, composting is an ongoing process. As I'm putting spring onions in here, just dipping the holes about 5 to 6 inches apart. And as the rest of these plants actually come out, we shall add more spring onions. If you remember in our last sow along video, I sowed some more. And these will get to a certain size and then overwinter. And if the weather does become rather poor in December and January, we can always add a cover to them to keep the worst of the winter weather off. The sunflowers have been so good this year. The bees have absolutely loved them. We were saying earlier in the year in our video about the cool weather back in June that the bees and other pollinators seemed to have absolutely disappeared, and we weren't seeing very many. But whatever would we do if we didn't have these flowers and shrubs in our garden? They're certainly back now, and they've been back since July, haven't they? We've seen them all over summer.
But they just seem to absolutely adore these sunflowers, don't they? Never seen so many bees. It's beautiful.
Another addition that I think has been really very good, Mrs. W, is the introduction of the cosmos.
Yes.
And they're still going.
They are. I do deadhead them as often as I can do, because they need it every day, really. But
Salad onions are a really good thing to raise toward the end of August and plant out during September. Because depending on how many onions you have available to you to store, they could run out sometime in April, May, and you're still waiting for your main crop onions to be ready. Now, we actually do overwintering onions, and they will give us a slightly earlier harvest toward the end of May and June. But these salad onions, they'll be ready for our harvest sometime in April and all through May. So by using the allium family to the best of your advantage, you can actually get that wonderful onion taste 12 months of the year. Still to come in this video, I have some harvesting to do. Now it's my grandson's 9th birthday, and we have 10 members of our family here or later on, all coming to help celebrate his birthday. And I know you do like to watch our videos, Charlie, so make sure you watch right till the end, because Grandad has a surprise for you, as well as the rest of you that are watching. The next thing I want to do is to transplant some spring cabbage. Now, spring cabbage, it will be ready sometime in March, April and into May, depending on how you want to eat them. I'm dipping the holes at around 12 inches, 1 foot apart, or 30 centimetres if you want it in new money. And the idea is that the earlier harvest you can take from these, you can just take the plant up, chop the leaves up and use it as some lovely spring green, leaving every other plant to go on to heart up. This is a great way of extending your harvest and ensuring that you have something to eat March, April and May. These are a variety called winter green, and I actually find these to be the most hardiest. Because remember, they are going to have to grow through the autumn and then survive the winter before they get going again really quite quickly during the month of February and March.
we grew some spring cabbage in the polytunnel last year, didn't we?
We did, Mrs. W, you are quite
That's
right.
lovely.
And we shall be doing exactly the same again this year. The plants that you saw me with earlier, I've got a full tray. I've set some in here. I've got another place in one of the other plots where I shall set another row, and the rest will go into the polytunnel. But we need to put those on first because they are starting to get a bit large, as you can see. And the polytunnel will not be ready to receive those plantings until October, when we clear out all of the summer harvesting fruits. The great thing about putting them in the poly or in a greenhouse, when they're grown under cover, you'll get them just that little bit earlier. As I said, I need to do some harvesting. Got a lot of people to feed later on today, and I have a nice autumn Savoy cabbage that's ready.
That does look lovely, doesn't it?
absolutely gorgeous. This is a
Yeah.
variety called Codessa. And you see the others are not quite as advanced as this yet. And that's why I say, you know, when you plant these out, what was it, June time? Towards the end of June?
Yeah.
We transplanted these. These will hold in the ground for a long time. But your time has come, my friend. That's a gorgeous cabbage, Mrs. W.
It is beautiful.
That'll feed us nicely later on today.
Certainly will. Can't wait.
The run of beans are still harvesting really very well. Many beans, Mrs. W.
I know. I think that's the most bumper harvest we've ever had for runner beans.
It's been a good year.
Yeah, it has. It's lovely.
But we have many people to feed.
Yes.
Now, this time of the year when you sow seeds, it's still really quite warm. And they germinate really quickly. What was it, just a week and a half ago that you watched our video when we sowed things that we want to put into this polytunnel? You can see the majority of them have actually germinated. So overwintering onions, got radish, pak choy, kohlrabi.
Lettuce have all come through nicely, haven't they?
They have, yes.
And some in the salad bowl as well. But that's just going to go down near the house they are, so we can just cut them coming in. Pot.
But I didn't think this was going to happen. But we do appear to have melons. It actually smells really quite sweet in here, and that's a sure sign that these are beginning to come ready for their harvest. This particular plant is actually starting to die off.
Yeah, it's not looking very happy, that one, isn't it? Is it?
But every time I move this, Mrs. W, it smells
I know.
really...
I don't have a terribly good sense of smell, but even I can smell it when I come in here. It's quite pungent melon smell. Lovely.
And on the other plant, where it's still relatively nice and green, that's actually getting really lovely too. Starting to come to its harvest. And I think it was Graham who described himself as an older gardener. Graham, welcome to the club. I'm a very old gardener.
But not as old as me.
Smell is one of the things that determine whether a melon is becoming ready. The other thing is that you'll see some cracking around the stem where it's attached to the plant. And of course, the changes in colour. And actually, if you pick one of your melons up and it's starting to go a little bit soft, that's another sure reason that you're ready to harvest your melons. Like I said in my reply to you, it's the first season for us ever growing melons, and do you know what? It doesn't matter how old we are, does it? There's always something to learn. And we've learnt about these. We will do things slightly different next year. But we are going to get a harvest.
Yay!
And so that's a real success. So pleased about that. And I can't wait for later today when young Charlie arrives and we bring him up to here and show him these lovely melons. Melons are one of his favourite treats. But what a treat it's going to be for him to be able to eat one of Nanny and Grandad's amazingly homegrown melons. At last they've arrived, Mrs. W.
They have. Hello, guys.
All of our grandchildren. Oh, aren't they all lovely? Aren't they all lovely? But it's a special day for you tomorrow, isn't it, my man? It's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it? How old are you going to be?
I'm going to be 9.
9! Do you know what? You're going to be half Grandad's age.
You're like 50.
And some.
But Grandad has been trying to grow something all year for you, because I know that you like them. And I think it's just about ready for your birthday.
Is it watermelon? No, stop ruining it.
It's not a watermelon, but it is a melon. So let's have a look. Ooh, look at that, Charlie.
I ate that.
Look at
I
that.
ate that melon.
Oh, that looks lovely, doesn't it?
Smells so amazing. Are you going to try a piece of that?
Can I try?
Of course you can, my
All
darling.
can try. Although Rosie's already tucking into tomatoes. Whoops!
Maggie?
Oh, hold on. Poppy.
No, don't give it to Poppy because she won't eat it. Give it to Rosie. Just give them to Rosie.
Oh my goodness, she's in some food.
Pardon?
Chew it.
Does it taste good? Yeah. There you go, darling.
Are you going to try a piece, Rosie?
I'll try.
Well, it does look really juicy. There we go, Rosie.
There you go,
There's
Rosie.
a piece for you. Say ta.
Nanny's mouth is watering. She really wants a piece.
I know, my mouth is watering.
Well, I think we really ought to save this other half for Charlie to take back with him.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Well, I
Oh,
want
it smells
more.
so sweet.
Well, maybe we could have some more.
Or are we going to finish it today, Charlie?
Finish it. Stop stepping on the
Finish
flowers.
it. I've just prepared one tray of onions ready to go into our store in the house. If you remember a few videos back when we said that you'd cure these, well, these are well and truly cured. You can see that all the stems have now browned off, they're floppy, and where it bends, that's a good place to make the cut. And then that also, like the onions, is ready to go into storage.
There are the broom shallots, they are, aren't they? They are rather large, the broom shallots.
Very large. Now myself and Mrs. W have quite a few of these to prepare. The allium family is absolutely amazing. It keeps really well. The onions, they will last well into the new year. We use quite a lot of onions, so depending on how many we grow in any particular one season depends on how long they last. We have had our onions that we've used sort of towards the end of April, beginning of May. And going all the way back to the beginning of the video when we put out those spring onions, that's when they come into their most rewarding time. Because once they've gone, and these have gone, they will give us that lovely onion taste just between May and the beginning of June, when our overwintering onions will become available for us. Then as overwintering onions, they will give us that wonderful onion taste through until sometime in July, when our main crop onions of that season will then become ready. Now, if you like what we do here in our No Dig Norfolk garden, interested in No Dig and how the amazing harvest that we get transform, and you're not yet subscribed to our channel, then hit that subscribe button now. And you will join us on our journey through the rest of this year and into 2025. Whatever you're doing this coming week, enjoy the lovely weather that's on its way, and do have a great gardening week.